We've all heard of the salary cap, but a new consonant cap in the NHL?
Plus, we take a look at the remaining 8 teams hoping to etch their names next to an asterisk on the Stanley Cup. This is Serious Hockey Talk.
Hello, and welcome to Serious Hockey Talk. I'm Tom Goss.
I'm Keith Carey.
And here's some stories from around the league.
Boston goalie Tuukka Rask was criticized for wearing a Boston Police Department hat during an interview. Though to be fair, you would also support excessive force with zero accountability if you were on a team with Brad Marchand.
The Penguins and Flyers stood next to each other during the national anthem to fight against racism. Nothing says an end to racism more than 40 white men standing in unison.
Despite rumors, defenseman Zdeno Chara says he's not retiring after this season. He plans to end his career the old-fashioned way, by submerging into a tar pit to be fossilized and one day used as fuel.
Leafs' Nicholas Robertson is the first 18-year-old to play in the NHL playoffs in 12 years. Stay tuned for his documentary, Exploited College Goals. Sean Avery had his first child. Who knew you could get someone pregnant by waving your stick in their face for 30 seconds?
The couple had a natural birth where Avery ran a screen while his wife popped the baby right past Martin Brodeur.
A billboard of Gritty has popped up in Toronto saying, "Every shot you take, every save you make, I'll be watching you." This was Gritty's second choice, his first one being, "I'll watch you pee."
And we're back to take a look at the teams on the East competing in the play-in rounds to try and get an official spot in the playoffs. Let's start with this one, because this is maybe the one I'm the most fascinated to watch. Toronto Maple Leafs against the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't like Toronto, but they have become one of my favorite teams to watch because you don't know what Toronto's going to show up. Like on any given night, they go from being one of the most skilled offensive teams, just unbelievable, to playing like a peewee team whose mom got him drunk. They're so inconsistent. They're so all over the place.
Stop referencing my hockey career.
Have you ever lost to a Zamboni driver?
No.
You have a less embarrassing record than Austin Matthews. They somehow found a way to be the highest paid team in the league and the scrappy underdog. I still am picking Toronto in this one. I think John Tortorella is on the bench doing his weird war brain shit. He's a stepdad Klingon. Mm-hmm. He does not understand human joy. He only knows suffering and New Balance sneakers. I think they're going to put the fear of God into the Leafs. I think the Leafs are still going to win, mostly because it'll be really funny to watch them lose to Boston again.
It could go either way. I'm going to go to Columbus. Columbus knocked out...
Wow.
They knocked out Tampa Bay last year.
True.
And no one was expecting that. At that point, they had never won a series in the franchise. I don't know. They have no pressure. What happens? You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, for Columbus, nobody's expecting them to win. Really, I mean, I guess you, but in general, like it's all kind of gravy at this point.
Whoever comes in mentally tougher is usually who wins. And I think I look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. I look at the cast, the very talented cast, and I think they are very weak mentally. I think they are weak individuals, no backbone, just femurless legs, inability to finish the smallest and trivial of puzzles, unable to do long division.
Basically, you think John Tavares is a jellyfish?
Yes. I think that nerd can go back to New York where he's also not wanted. That team is a pack of failures with talent, heartless losers, and they will not win the Stanley Cup. The Toronto Marlies have a better shot at winning the Stanley Cup in 2020 than the Toronto Maple Leafs. I've seen vaginas with more balls than that team. They have loser mentality. They are losers.
Stop! He's already dead.
We'll see how it shakes out.
New York Islanders versus the Florida Panthers. New York Islanders, where they're strong, discipline, forechecking, experience. They got a lot of veterans. They're one of the older teams. They got rid of Tavares. That seems to be a plus for the organization.
Yeah, you fuck.
They do lack spark plug scoring power.
Very sturdy team, but there's nobody who really pops out as like, that's the guy.
I think having your face on NHL 20 by EA Sports does not do anything to help you win a Stanley Cup. So I think the Islanders have a better shot than some other teams that may like flash. You know, people always refer to the Gretzkys and the Ovechkins and the Crosbys. But all those players, those elite players, have a team around them. That is a team that could use an elite player.
Right.
And they hated what they had so much they sent them to Toronto. But that team is still there. That heart is still there. That work ethic's still there. That discipline's still there. Florida is kind of the opposite. Every year I go, are they finally going to figure it out? You have such great pieces. And every year, some years they come out and they look like world beaters, and then other games they come out and they look like Detroit.
Well, that exhibition game, like I was not expecting them to like beat Tampa Bay. Like, obviously that's a mismatch of a game. But I'm like, all right, well, let's see if they look like tough, if they look ready, if they look like they're sharp. And they looked ridiculous. It's embarrassing that they're there.
When they're sharp, I think they can easily beat Tampa Bay. I think when they're dull, you know, they can't do anything. You know, they have a good goalie, and that if your goalie's not going to show up, and goaltending is hard to predict because of the time off, maybe he'll be in shape. You have a good team. Lots of Europeans, lots of consonants on the back of the jersey. Yeah. It should be working out.
If you like names with too many K's in them, you'll love the Florida Panthers. Imagine anyone who lives in South Florida trying to pronounce the names of anyone on that team. Just old Jewish retirees like Bobaroo, Huberdeau. Yeah. How about you, Huber? Don't.
I think Islanders take that.
I agree with you on this one. I think Islanders take it. Next one is the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Montreal Who Gives a Shits. The Canadians, let's talk about them first. They were never supposed to be here. They voted against the return to play. They sold a bunch of guys at the trade deadline. They clearly had made peace with like, it's not going to be our year. And then they ended up here anyway, and in that game against Toronto, man, you could tell they did not want to be there. They played like wet ass.
Brendan Gallagher, that game, played like the winner of that game gets to fuck his mom. And that wasn't what he was about.
Carey Price looked slow. He didn't look like he was at his best. A guy who's great cannot play okay and succeed in this weird-ass format, especially when he has so little going on around him right now. His team's not there. They're clearly trying to figure out what they want to do going forward. They definitely want to lose and get Lafreniere. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, Pittsburgh, I think, is really going to be strong. I think they got kind of a cupcake of a first round here. But Pittsburgh's biggest problem in the regular season is so many guys on that team kept getting injured. And the guys who they really needed were injured. Crosby was out for a while. Everyone's healthy now. The team's back at full strength. I've heard a lot of reports of like some teams are sort of like, well, we don't even know if we're going to go back to playing games at all, so we're sort of training, but we're like kind of half in, and they're not sort of mentally locked in. Pittsburgh, I guess, from the day they were even talking about games, has been completely locked in. Crosby and Malkin have really been telling that team, like, hey, this is a real thing we have a shot at. I think they have a serious shot at going deep in this thing.
No, they have a shot.
I would love to watch them be murdered by Philly.
Yeah, I think any gentle breeze could cause a Crosby injury and set the team.
He somehow ruptured his hymen twice.
What I'm trying to say is I don't think Montreal will win, and that the Toronto Maple Leafs are a bunch of retarded cocks. I do think that Ottawa has a better shot than the Toronto Maple Leafs this season. Carolina versus the New York Rangers. Carolina disciplined, good forecheck. They have a lot of heart. They beat the Toronto Maple Leafs with a Zamboni driver in net.
42-year-old Zamboni driver who was an employee of the Maple Leafs.
Yeah. Does Toronto deserve more credit than anyone else for losing? Sure. But would every team be able to pull that off? No. They rose to an occasion. They have a Bond villain coaching them with Rob Brindamore.
Rob Brindamore is one of the scariest men in hockey.
Rob Brindamore is evidence that steroids are in all sports.
I think the vein on his forehead just keeps going through his body to his penis. One vein full of shout.
He's ripped.
Yeah.
But he's not playing. He's coaching. They've collected a team with a winning mentality. They have put out a lot of effort. They exert a lot of energy. They really try to disrupt your offensive game plan.
They're a team that I didn't necessarily give a shit about. The more I watch them, there's something about them spiritually where they always feel kind of like this fun, plucky underdog.
Right.
And I don't know if it's just because of the David Ayers thing is locked in my brain so hard. But there is something every time, no matter who they're playing, I'm they're gonna David and Goliath it. I kind of find myself pulling for them.
New York has star power. Panarin. They have Zibanejad. They have Henrik Lundqvist,
who there's a lot of speculation might not be playing in the playoffs. They're talking about using Georgiev and Samsonov.
Regardless, I think that's going to be a good matchup. I really think it's going to go to Carolina.
New York's got shooters. I think Panarin is going to come through. I think Panarin's going to be a big threat for New York.
And that's just because he sounds like a sandwich.
That's true. I'm very hungry. Yeah, I think Panarin and his friends mac and cheese and that clam chowder in a bowl, but the bowl is made of bread, Buchnevich. I would have to edge it to Carolina. It's the one I'm the least confident saying that on.
I'm very confident.
Yeah.
I'm very confident about everything.
You know what? I'm going to take New York just because I want another thing to fight with Tom about.
Okay.
I changed my mind. It's New York. The Rangers are the best. They're the anti-Toronto.
Yeah, I will go off on New York like I went off on Toronto another week. Those are our Eastern predictions. Now to wrap up real quick, let's go to the comment of the week. Biggest Rigus commented, my picks are Detroit, Boston, Tampa, and Philly for the East. No statistics or logic, just like the teams. Also, Keith, you were wrong and dumb.
You're right. I'm a big fat idiot. I'll bet you $1,000 on Detroit.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people are going, wow, what a dipshit picking Detroit. Little do people know, this same man predicted in 2019 the hockey season would be postponed due to a pandemic. So
what?
I assume we will be seeing Detroit deep in the conference finals.
That's it, everybody. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe, leave us comments down below. We'll read and make fun of you at some point. Follow us on social media. That's it. This was Serious
Hockey.
Baby, how long will you keep me in the penalty box? Baby, I'm wrong, but it's lonely in the penalty box. I know I broke the rules, but rules are broken by fools. Baby, how long will you keep me in the